The question for today is, can Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers gain anything from training with Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber? That is the question that we have today. Let me know your answer in the comment section below, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down in this video exactly what I believe would happen if any such character would enter the hyperbolic time chamber with someone like Goku. But on top of that, I want to focus on specifically Jujutsu Kaisen characters and what they would gain from such an experience, because this is some high level training. And trust me, this is not a video on who would win between Goku and Yuji or anything like that, because we already know who would win in that fight. No, this is about training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Will it help the Jujutsu Kaisen warriors? Let's get it. So the main scenario is this: Yuji goes to the Dragon Ball world and meets up with Goku, who tells him that he can train him in the hyperbolic time chamber for whatever time constraint that they have, and he will get him stronger. Now that begs the question, will Yuji gain anything from training with Goku, specifically in the hyperbolic time chamber? Well, first and foremost, the length of time in the time chamber, that is the number one advantage. If there is a crisis that is happening on the planet, or say in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, that is in a week or a day or whatever, then that is when the hyperbolic time chamber is going to be at its most advantageous, because it shortens everything, and you can get like years and years and years of training for a few days in the hyperbolic time chamber. But why would Yuji even need all this time in the time chamber for? Well, he absolutely would need it just to be able to learn and understand the basics of what the Dragon Ball world has to offer in terms of power scaling and lore. And what I mean by that is that Yuji is an Earthling. He's a human, and he has very limited access to the ki that every living being in Dragon Ball has. Just because Yuji comes from a different universe doesn't mean he doesn't have that life force of ki. He just doesn't understand or know how to use it. So knowing how to use it, understanding how to use it, that's something that's going to take years of dedication. In Videl's case, maybe a few months to get like the basics down of how to fly and maybe create little energy blasts. But if you train like Videl, then you too could survive a point blank hit by Broly second coming in Super Saiyan transformation. No, that's a topic for a different video. Yeah, you will get a ton of benefits from being in the hyperbolic time chamber with Goku, because Goku is an expert in all things martial arts, in Earthlings, in Saiyan biology, and also in training and ki. He's an expert in ki, I would say. So the first thing that would happen is that Goku would teach Yuji about ki, which is something that he already has in his own body. It's not something that Yuji has to eat a fruit for and gain the power for, or be born with it and then his clan is known for that thing. No, every being has ki. It's just how they're going to use it. So that's something that Goku will teach him how to use. Water break. Gotta remain hydrated, guys. So anyway, yeah, so that's something that Yuji absolutely needs to learn, and he will learn with Goku. Or else, if he doesn't learn that with Goku in the time chamber, then nothing else really matters, because he can't do any other techniques. So the first thing he'll do is he'll learn how to do flying, harnessing the ki underneath his feet, be able to fly, and also be able to use a limited amount of ki blast, or at least exert the energy from his body, maybe in ki blast, in aura. And this is something that should come second nature to Yuji, specifically because Yuji has Sakuna as a master Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerer deep inside him, similar to Naruto and Kurama. He has within him a being that is a expert in all things sorcery. And the thing that you get from sorcery is that it requires cursed energy, which is a form of spiritual energy that leaks from humans as a result of their negative emotions, making up the bodies of cursed spirits, and it utilized by sorcerers and cursed spirits alike to fuel their jujutsu, meaning that not only does Yuji already know how to use the jujutsu sorcery and all that negative energy from his spiritual energy, but that's something that the deep spirit within him already knows how to do. And we already know that even in Dragon Ball, if you have a lot of anger within you, it may be easier to use certain key techniques and be able to access that part of you. So that is going to help Yuji a ton, and this is going for all Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers who are using that negative spiritual energy within them, which is fueled by negative emotions, anger, all that stuff. They will be able to use that to be able to produce ki. So they would have actually an easier time learning all this stuff with Goku, and that's the thing. Yuji would learn flying, he would learn spiritual pressure and using that ki to in a physical way just to power up or things like that, which would amplify the jujutsu sorcery that he already has. And we already know that Yuji is strong, he's fast already, so he already has that as a base, so he'll just get stronger and faster. So Yuji actually would be probably one of the most perfect candidates to learn what Goku is teaching him at that time. And I think Goku would then try to teach him the Kamehameha Blast. A lot of people already know the Kamehameha Blast, and that, I think, to me, is because of its ease in learning it. Once you already kind of know the basics and know how to, collect your ki in the palm of your hand. That's probably the reason that it's a technique that it's widespread. I mean, so many characters, look at Sparking Zero, so many characters have access to Kamehamehas because it's one of those beginner techniques. So I would say that if, say, Yuji or anybody from the Jujutsu Kaisen world, like sorcerer wise, if they were a day in the hyperbolic time chamber, they would not only be masters of ki by the end of the time that they got out of there, but at the same time, it's not just because of the length of time or Goku being in there, it's because the time chamber will manipulate itself to give you the perfect training environment. So for Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers, I would imagine that at first it would give you the perfect environment for training ki, and once they develop, they try to use some more of that sorcery, then at that point it'll be changing the environment to fit for what a sorcerer needs to train. And so it's just a WW win-win all around. I think personally it is one of the best scenarios for these characters to be able to go in the hyperbolic time chamber and train. And again, I think that any character from any verse would be gaining something huge from just going in and training in the hyperbolic time chamber with someone like Goku and understanding ki and the way that it functions. Ki actually, in my opinion, is by far the most powerful type of I would say energy or universal energy that any verse has, in my opinion. It is the strongest. It allows you to blow up planets, survive in space, fight gods, fight angels. It's just so powerful that any character in any other verse with the stuff they already have, if they learned how to control it from Dragon Ball characters or from the Dragon Ball verse, they would be unstoppable. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comments.